Hello everyone and welcome to another random video on the internet. On this day, exactly 2 years ago, I uploaded my first video onto my YouTube channel, which is debunking the memes of the Naruto fandom. But what you might not know is that that actually wasn't my first ever video. It's just the first one that is still up. There were a few videos before this one, and a few videos after this one, that I made and either did not publish or published and then took down very soon after uploading them. Like literally days after uploading them, because I just didn't think they were enough quality to publish. I kept those old videos, I still have them, and I searched through my PC and I found them. So, yeah, this is gonna be videos from an era that is like 2 years ago, so I was very different, my video style was pretty different as well. This was back during the era when I still used PowerPoint to make videos. Like literally, I would just do layouts in PowerPoint, like put renders and backgrounds in PowerPoint, screenshot them and put them in the video editors. Yeah, that was a different time. But yeah, this is gonna be an exposure to videos that you never saw. So strap in and enjoy the cringe.
Hello everyone and welcome to my very first What If video. Today I will be talking about a very interesting scenario in my opinion. What if Tatsumaki from One Punch Man was in Dragon Ball Z? Today we're going to discuss that. So first of all, how did this even happen? Well, I'm not just gonna have a portal magically open up and suck her into the dragon world. Oh no, I want her to be a full part of this story. It all begins at the end of the original Dragon Ball and in the time skip. As many of you know, Launch was very interested in having a relationship with Tien Shinhan, but in the original it didn't work out for them, mostly because Toriyama forgot that she ever existed. But what if it did work out? Let's say that Launch is just a little bit more insistent on marrying Tien, and that they wind up having a daughter at around the same time that Gohan is born. The child is named Tatsumaki. From a young age, Tatsumaki wants to be strong like her father and starts slightly training at the age of 3. During one particular training session, she gets really frustrated and unlocks a new skill, magic, or more accurately, telekinesis. Tien is obviously interested in this development and together with Chaozu they train Tatsumaki to control their newfound powers. Now you might be thinking, how did she unlock magic? And this is pretty unlikely, but Tien might actually be part alien. So let's just say that Tatsumaki was somehow able to access her alien side and got magic that way. If that answer doesn't satisfy you, then let's just say that she had an encounter with a magician who gave her her powers and then died somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, back to the story. Chaozu is actually a very big help here, since he has some weak telekinesis too. After the 4-year time skip from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, the gang all meet up at Kame House, and everyone is surprised that Goku has a kid. The difference here is that Tien, Chaozu, and Tatsumaki are there too. The girl had heard so many stories from her father and wanted to meet all of his friends so badly that Tien had no choice but to take her there. After a brief introduction and celebration where Tatsumaki gets to meet everyone and have a cute encounter with Gohan, the events on Kame House happen fairly similarly, even with the extra people. Tatsumaki is too scared to react, and Tien and Chaozu are pretty shaken up like everyone else. Raditz grabs Gohan, gives Goku an ultimatum, and leaves. However, the team to fight Raditz is very different this time. Piccolo still offers to help, but Tien does too. Also, seeing his friends going to face a dangerous threat, Krillin decides to go as backup too. Tatsumaki also joins the group. At first everyone is skeptical, but then Tien calms everyone down and lets her go with them. Now time for some power levels. Tien is a little bit stronger in this version since he trained more. Instead of his usual power level of 250, he is closer to 300 now. Tatsumaki without her magic is at a power level of 80. She's still really strong for a human, but not nearly enough to help fight Raditz. However, her magic changes everything. At full strength, she is around a 200. Everyone else is pretty much the same as in the original story. Krillin at 210, Piccolo at 408, and Goku at 416. At first, Raditz is cocky. Do these guys actually think he can take him down? Look, they even brought a child to the fight. When the battle starts, however, he is put on the back foot, with the superior skill of his opponents combined with the fact that there are 5 of them, and when one of them is using strange psychic attacks, this fight is turning to be a lot more of a challenge for the Saiyan than he thought at first. But if this is all they have, he knows that he can win. But his false sense of security is shattered when Tien yells out, "Tatsumaki, use your magic on Goku and Piccolo, now!" A green aura surrounds both of them as their power starts to rise. The daughter of Tien has learned a very useful technique. She can temporarily boost a person's strength by 1.5 times their normal output. Unfortunately, she can only do that to 2 people at a time, but this is more than enough. Raditz starts losing ground as Piccolo and Goku rush him down, but then he realizes that the girl is the source of that power. If he takes her out, the power should disappear. He quickly goes for Tatsumaki and is able to knock her out with a chop of the neck. Then she takes her hostage. "If anyone moves a finger, I'll blast this brat out of existence!" Suddenly, a small figure flies past everyone and rams into Raditz with enough force to make him let go of Tatsumaki. It's Gohan. Seeing his dad and friends in danger made him rage out and lash out at the man responsible. Now weakened, Raditz knocks Gohan to the floor as he rushes to kill Tatsumaki and the now unconscious child. But Goku and Krillin jump in his way to stop him and start beating the Saiyan down. Meanwhile, Piccolo has retreated and is now charging his special beam cannon in order to finish Raditz for good. Tien picks up Gohan and his daughter and flies them away from the battle. After that, he turns back and launches himself at Raditz. Together with Goku and Krillin, they are able to pin the Saiyan down, and Piccolo uses the opportunity to fire his Makanko Sapo, piercing through the invader and blowing up a mountain behind them. As he lays on the ground dying, Raditz warns the group about 2 other Saiyans who will undoubtedly come to kill them all. After the battle, Tatsumaki wakes up and is praised by everyone for her skill and her bravery. But there is no time to celebrate, as the next threat is on his way, and everyone knows that they need to start training. And this is where we're going to leave off for now. So, if Tatsumaki was in Dragon Ball Z, Goku wouldn't die, and everyone would have a much better time dealing with Raditz. Now, as many of you probably noticed, this isn't exactly the Tatsumaki from One Punch Man, but I think this character, inspired by Tatsumaki, fits in better with the Dragon world. I hope you enjoyed this What If. And if you did, then consider leaving a like, and possibly subscribing. Do not miss out on the next part. Goodbye for now, and see you next time.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second part of What If Tatsumaki from One Punch Man was in Dragon Ball Z. If you have not seen the first part, I strongly recommend to watch that video first. But without any further ado, let's get right into it. We pick up the story during the 1-year time skip when our heroes are training to combat the Saiyans. So how's it going for them? Well, overall the group is doing much better now that Goku isn't dead and can help everyone. The humans still go to train with Kami, but this time the training is a lot more effective because Goku and Piccolo are there and can be used as training partners. And speaking of those two, they're mostly training with each other. Gohan spends most of his time at Master Roshi's place, also getting stronger, and towards the second half of the time skip he starts training with the others. Gohan's tail is also removed. Tatsumaki is actually training with Kami personally. Namekian seemed to know some form of telepathy, and the Guardian of Earth does his best to pass that knowledge and skill down to the young girl. She also tries to push her limits when it comes to her ability to make others stronger. By the end of the time skip, Tatsumaki can help 3 people with that technique. Also, we really need a name for it. Maybe you could suggest something in the comments. Remember, before her limit was only 2 people. After a year of hard work, the Saiyans finally arrive.
They immediately head to the collection of high power levels in the distance. They arrive at a wasteland, far away from any city or village. Turns out all the Earth's fighters were already waiting for them. Nappa reads the scouter and laughs. "Ha! The strongest one of these guys only has a power level of 1,500. This is gonna be way too easy." He plants the Cyberman and is surprised when the group easily destroys every single monster with one strike. He's even more surprised when Goku slams him into the ground with full force, putting him out of commission. Vegeta turns on his scouter as everyone is powering up. Goku has a power level of 6,750, Piccolo 6,530, Tien is at around 3,750, Krillin at 3,000, Yamcha at 2.48 thousand. Tatsumaki is at 200, but with their magic she can push her limits up to 1,800. Gohan is at 1,400, and even Chaozu has a power level of 1,400. As you can see, the training was very effective. Everyone rushes Vegeta. Tatsumaki raises Tien, Piccolo, and Goku's power levels, and supports the group with her telekinesis. Vegeta is much more powerful than any of them individually, but together the Z-Warriors overwhelm him. "How did this happen? I am a Saiyan Elite! I can't allow this! I'll show you the terrifying power of the Great Ozaru!" Vegeta screams as he throws the Power Ball into the sky. While his power is reduced from creating the thing, the Ozaru transformation more than makes up for that. Piccolo immediately slips out of the battle and starts charging the special beam cannon while the others try to hold Vegeta off as long as they can. But it's more difficult than anyone could have imagined. Vegeta grew not only in power, but in speed too. He effortlessly knocks Krillin and Yamcha out of the sky, and then after another minute or so, does the same to Tien. At this point, Gohan, Tatsumaki, and Chaozu have to enter the front line and try to help Goku not get crushed by the rampaging Great Ape. Finally, Piccolo finishes charging his special beam cannon, but just as he's about to fire it at Vegeta, the monkey opens his mouth and fires a blast that injures Tatsumaki and completely incinerates Piccolo. And with Piccolo's death, so did Kami, and the Dragon Balls went with them. Everyone was still in shock when Vegeta quickly ran over to Goku and grabbed him. Gohan tried to save his father, but the Great Ape just smacked him away like a fly. At this point, Vegeta had lost all sense. He just wanted to kill everyone and everything on this planet. While crushing Goku, he launched another mouth beam, this time aimed directly at Tatsumaki. Seeing his daughter in danger, Tien Shinhan used the last of his strength to get up and push his daughter out of the way. The brave warrior was also incinerated by the blast. Tatsumaki couldn't believe what she was seeing. Her dad was just killed right in front of her. But Chaozu didn't lose sense. He lost his best friend and knew exactly what he had to do. The small but brave fighter flew right into the Great Ape's still open mouth and blew himself up inside of it. This actually injured the monkey. Vegeta lost balance and dropped Goku. But his torment wasn't over, not by a long shot. After seeing her dad die and then his friend blow himself up, Tatsumaki lost all control of herself. A similar green aura to the one that she used to help others now surrounded her, but this was different. The same aura got a hold of Vegeta and started to brutally crush him. The ape roared out in pain but couldn't get out of the magic. But everyone had forgotten one factor. Vegeta never killed Nappa in this version of events. When the Saiyan brute woke up and saw the situation, he went after Tatsumaki. He punched her out of her magic. By this time, Vegeta had reverted to his normal state and was greatly injured. At the same time, Gohan, Krillin, and Yamcha got a hold of themselves and jumped in to protect Tatsumaki, while an injured Goku went to take on Vegeta. After a brief scuffle, the Saiyans were forced to retreat. Nappa summoned their space pods, and the two brutes left. Maybe the Z-Fighters could have stopped them, but they were also extremely tired and in dire condition, so they decided that it wasn't worth it. And this is where we're going to leave the story for now. What will happen in the Namek saga? I really hope you're enjoying this What If. If you are, be sure to click that like button. That way I know that you want to see more of my content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye. Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new What If. What if Cooler adopted baby Kakarot? I've actually asked Masako X and Salad Saiyan to do this multiple times but didn't have much luck, so I decided to finally do it myself. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. The story begins at the time of planet Vegeta's destruction. Frieza is afraid of the legendary Super Saiyan, and this fear leads him to destroy all Saiyans. Like in his movie, Cooler is watching from a distance when one of his minions, Salza, reports that a Saiyan pod is rocketing away from the exploding planet. This is where things start changing. Cooler, instead of just leaving it, decides that having a Saiyan as a servant would be useful. And since this one is just a baby, Cooler could easily mold him into the perfect soldier. He orders his men to intercept the pod and retrieve the baby. After Kakarot is brought in, Cooler reads his power level. I was hoping to find an elite, but I guess this'll have to do. Over the next few years, Kakarot would be taught proper manners, and when he turns 3 years old, Cooler would begin training the young Saiyan. Side note, Goku would probably be given a new name, but let's just call him Kakarot for simplicity's sake. For 10 years, Kakarot is molded to become the perfect puppet. And I just want to make one thing clear. Cooler wouldn't be to Kakarot what Frieza was to Vegeta. Cooler is a cruel leader, sure, but he would show some respect to his best soldiers, and even commend Kakarot when he did something right. Of course, he's still just as, if not even more cruel to everyone else than Frieza. But to the few people who have actually earned his respect, he would treat them with a lot more care. After all, unlike his brother, Cooler does not have an unlimited amount of fodder personnel, so he needs to conserve what little he has. Thanks to this, Kakarot would actually look up to his master and want to be as great as him one day. He would also receive extensive training. At first, Cooler would want to increase Kakarot's power by utilizing Zenkai boosts, which he would be aware of. When the Saiyan became old enough, Cooler would also start teaching him military strategy and how to actually fight. I'd also like to point out that the gravity of the planet where all of this would take place would most likely be higher than Earth's. Once he grasped the basics of fighting, strategy, and overall became more powerful, Kakarot would be sent out on missions to conquer planets or destroy rebels. And now we reach the point where Kakarot is 20 years old. One day, Cooler summons him to his headquarters. As you are aware, you are not the only Saiyan alive after the genocide that my brother brought upon your race. I want you to go and convince Prince Vegeta and his underlings to come join us in our quest to overthrow Frieza. Do it by any means necessary. Yes, Lord Cooler, it'll be done. Cooler's forces have been spying on Frieza. Kakarot is sent to a planet where Vegeta's group is currently resting after conquering it. Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz were eating in silence when an attack pod landed a few kilometers from their campsite. Obviously, this gets the group's attention. They weren't informed about any backup arriving. The group approaches the pod. Suddenly, its door opens and a man steps out of it. Who are you? Vegeta shouts. I don't remember asking for backup. Without saying a word, Kakarot fires 3 death beams, which he learned from Cooler, at the group scouters, destroying them instantly. I am Kakarot, a Saiyan that was sent here to rescue you from Frieza. Vegeta looks closer and is surprised to see that this guy has a tail. So he is a Saiyan. Raditz also notices, but he is more focused on what the stranger said. Kakarot? His long-lost brother? No way! Nappa is the only clueless one. Save us? What are you talking about? You should be taught some manners! He screams as he charges at Kakarot. Nappa, wait! The younger Saiyan effortlessly avoids the brute's hits, and with one punch sends Nappa flying back. Raditz reaches for his scouter, wanting to measure his brother's power level, but then he remembers that those devices were destroyed. I am not your enemy. I would love to fight you, but this isn't the time and place for that. However, if you cause me problems, I will have no choice but to take you by force, says Kakarot. Take me by force? Do you even know who I am? You are Prince Vegeta, and your max power level is 18,000. I am more than capable of beating you up if need be. Vegeta was left confused, but he didn't attack. Something told him that he couldn't win. Maybe it was the slight resemblance that Kakarot had to Frieza. The way he carried himself and the confidence in his voice reminded him of the tyrant. At this point, Raditz spoke up. Where do you want to take us, brother? Goku wasn't aware that one of these guys was actually his brother. But even if he was, Kakarot didn't care much. You must hate Frieza for destroying planet Vegeta. My master also has a grudge against that freak. He's willing to let you join his forces and help take down the tyrant. What are you saying? Planet Vegeta was destroyed by a meteor. No, that's just a lie made up by Frieza to get you to obey him. After a bit more talking, Kakarot and the other Saiyans took off to space, flying to the planet that Cooler was supposed to be waiting on. Okay, that was the first part of this What If, and this is where we're going to leave off the story for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, so that I know that you want to see more content from me. Sorry if you didn't like the voice acting, maybe I'll stop in the future or maybe not. It's really a fun thing to do for me. Anyway, goodbye.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I decided to try something new on the channel. What ifs? I have been wanting to do these for a while now and I finally decided on what scenario I wanted to cover first. How would the story change if Obito Uchiha abducted baby Naruto after Minato and Kushina passed away? Without any further ado, let's jump into it. We pick up the story when Obito attacks Konoha, and for the most part, everything stays the same until Minato defeats the young Uchiha and releases the Ninetales from his control. In this version of events, Obito still retreats, but he doesn't go too far, and he doesn't leave the village entirely. Instead, choosing to watch from afar, as the Leaf Village is dealing with the Kyuubi. He observes as Minato and Kushina sacrifice themselves for the village and for their son. He is even able to hear some of their last words, though due to the distance between them, he can't quite make out exactly what they said. He heard something about Naruto, and realizes that that's probably the child's name. Obito just assumes that his parents wished him a happy and important life. What rubbish. Obito is about to leave, but then an idea suddenly manifests itself inside his brain. How ironic would it be if the son that his sensei gave up everything to protect was the one to eventually destroy Konoha for good? He ponders this for a bit, and realizes that letting a baby with so much potential grow up in the Leaf Village would be a waste. Instead, why not raise Naruto himself and mold him into a powerful ally and a weapon to be used for Obito's purposes? As the Madara wannabe ponders this, the third Hokage arrives on the scene. Obito makes up his mind and moves in to abduct Naruto. Before the third can get close to Naruto, the Uchiha is already there, and he teleports the baby and himself out of there. Hiruzen is surprised, but when he realizes what happened, he quietly apologizes to Minato and Kushina's corpses. Meanwhile, Obito, with an unconscious Naruto in his hands, arrives at his hideout. "You're going to become my greatest tool," the Uchiha mutters to the child. As years pass and Naruto grows older, Obito makes sure that he despises the world, and especially the Leaf Village. The Uchiha lies to Naruto about his origins, saying that his parents made him into a container for a monster, and that they knew the child would have to bear the hate of all the people in his native village, while the monster tortured him from the inside. Just think how horrible that would have been. What parents would do that to their kid? He even uses Genjutsu on Naruto to enhance the effect of his words, actually letting the kid see what a horrible fate waited him in Konoha. Naruto would essentially be brainwashed by Obito into hating the Leaf Village and viewing this mysterious man as his savior. As for the Nine Tails, Obito probably wouldn't want to deal with his tantrums, so he just puts Kurama in a genjutsu. I could even see Obito using the Kyuubi as a tool, making him haunt Naruto in his sleep and torture him mentally, until Obito pretends to save the day by putting the Nine Tails in a genjutsu and making him stop torturing Naruto. He might also let Naruto find a friend or two, just to have them die in accidents or get killed by other shinobi. He manipulates and fakes Naruto's whole childhood, making him experience hardship after hardship, and Obito would always be there to save or protect the kid, all to make Naruto submit to his will and worldview. The child would view Obito as his savior, his father figure, and his only friend, besides Zetsu. At the age of 5, Obito would begin to teach Naruto basic chakra control and a couple low-rank jutsu. All this time, Obito still does everything that he does in canon. He still convinces Nagato to form the new Akatsuki, and the creation of the organization remains the same. At around the time that Naruto originally graduated from the academy, this version of him is very different. He is nowhere near as brash and reckless as his canon counterpart. This kid is instinctively suspicious of every person he meets. He is a lot more analytical and a lot more intelligent, due to Obito being his master and teacher. Naruto is also a lot more powerful. He already has several high-level wind-style ninjutsu and has learned a couple low to mid-level fire jutsu, because of his training with an Uchiha. This made Obito consider some things. Fire and wind, when mixed together, are very strong, but it would normally be an impossible combination without at least 2 people performing the different jutsu at the same time. But since Naruto has such immense chakra reserves, he might be able to use shadow clones. While we haven't seen Obito use shadow clones, it's a common jutsu among high-level ninja, so I have no doubt that Obito would at least know how to use it. He just doesn't have enough chakra to spam them all at the same time, like Naruto can. So, Naruto would have this jutsu, but he wouldn't use it like he did in canon. This Naruto relies a lot more on skill rather than raw power. Shadow clones would be used to make combo attacks, mixing fire and wind, or just making a couple of them to assist in hand-to-hand combat or bait out attacks from enemies. Naruto might also have already made a couple variations of the jutsu. Maybe a fire-style shadow clone, a doppelganger that explodes into flames when damaged. His hand-to-hand combat skills would also be greater than in canon, though not by a huge margin. This Naruto is also much better at using and dealing with genjutsu, since he is training with an Uchiha after all. Obito also has seen Minato use the Rasengan, and has personally felt its devastating power. Due to the Sharingan, he could easily copy it and use it himself if he wanted to, though I don't know if he would want to teach it to Naruto per se. But the ironic value would just be too much. Imagine it. The son of the 4th Hokage, using a jutsu made by the 4th, being raised by a former student of the 4th, destroying the village that the 4th sacrificed everything to protect. It's too tempting for Obito to resist, so Naruto is taught the Rasengan, this time being able to perform it with just one hand. Obito wants Naruto to add another chakra nature to this Rasengan, but the kid is a bit too young and inexperienced to pull something like that off, even with such a powerful and smart master. Overall, this is a much more powerful Naruto than the one we got in canon. I will put up the stats of both versions of Naruto to visually communicate the difference in ability between these two characters. Side note, Jiraiya would probably search for Naruto intensively, but to no avail. Obito would have also taken Naruto on a few missions with himself and Zetsu. This would have affected the kid greatly, reducing his sensitivity and increasing his emotion control. Naruto becomes desensitized to things like murder, pain, and suffering of others, being convinced by his master that that is just the way this cursed world works. This makes the young shinobi want to help Madara succeed in his plans to make the world a better place. Side note, Obito would still probably be known as Madara, even to Naruto. The Jinchuriki doesn't know anything about Obito. All he knows is that he's talking to and being raised by Madara Uchiha, one of the strongest men to ever walk the earth. This makes him respect Obito even more. The only reason I keep calling him Obito is because that way it's a lot less confusing and a lot more straightforward. Anyways, back to the story. Obito and Zetsu have always been there for Naruto, and the kid, despite being very strong, especially for his age, is still very dependent on the two. But it's time for that to change. One day, Obito takes Naruto on a mission to assassinate a high-ranking Stone Village officer. Nothing too unusual, but this time the situation is different. When they arrive at the castle that houses the target, Obito informs Naruto that this will be his first solo mission. This surprises the boy. On the one hand, it's a chance to prove his worth to the master and test out his skills, but on the other hand, it's still scary, and he is afraid. "What if I fail?" Naruto asks. Obito explains that he has been training with one of the greatest shinobi to ever live, and is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. He is more than capable of pulling this off. "Or has all this training been for nothing?" he taunts Naruto. This fires the boy up. Naruto is not letting his father figure down. Obito explains the situation to Naruto. The target is inside the castle, in the main hall in the second floor. It has no windows and is in the middle of the fortress. The walls are at least 10 meters tall. Each wall has 3 men guarding it. There is only one entrance. 2 shinobi are standing in front of it. Many more enemies are probably hiding inside. That's all the available intel. Zetsu asks Naruto if it will be enough. The boy nods and confidently prepares to battle. The castle is surrounded by a forest. Obito and Zetsu stay about 500 meters from the closest wall, while Naruto makes his way closer to it. "I wonder how he will deal with this mission," Zetsu ponders. "It would be tough even for a Jonin-level ninja." Obito answers, "If he can't handle this, then he will never be able to help them achieve their goal." As Naruto gets closer and closer to the fortress, he is confident in his abilities, but he isn't stupid. The young ninja knows he can't just charge in without a plan. After thinking for a minute, he comes up with a plan. Naruto creates 5 shadow clones, and has them transform into Konoha ninja. He knows what their headbands look like, so it's not an issue for him to pretend to be a leaf shinobi. The clones circle around the castle and start bombarding the entrance with fire and wind-style jutsu. Most guards rush over to repel the invaders, leaving the backside of the fortress undefended. Then the main Naruto, who is also transformed into a leaf ninja, makes a sizable Rasengan and busts down part of the back wall and creates 2 more shadow clones, who attack the ground floor, while Naruto sneakily makes his way up to the second floor, swiftly knocking out or killing anyone who gets in his way. After 5 minutes, Naruto finds himself at the entrance of the main hall. He creates 2 more clones and launches a powerful fire and wind style combo he calls Fire Wind Style Bunker Buster, a jutsu he specifically created to break through barriers like the Mud Wall Jutsu, or in this case, the door to the main hall. The Firenado obliterates the door and blows away everyone inside, as Naruto quickly rushes into the room with the intention to kill the target, but is surprised to see that the man is not there. That's when Obito teleports into the room, with the dead body of the target. "You took too long, Naruto. The target has already made his way to an underground exit." Naruto is saddened to hear that he was too slow, but Zetsu appears and chimes in. "You were a bit slow, but your strategy wasn't bad. Quite the opposite, in fact. You did a good job for your first solo mission." Obito explains that, while it wasn't perfect, Naruto did show that his training wasn't for nothing, and that he just needs more practice. This makes the boy very happy. It's not often that he received genuine praise from his master. Zetsu prepares to go and dispatch the few stone ninja that Naruto left alive, but the blonde stops him. He didn't leave them alive without reason. Naruto explains that he did a few things for a very specific reason, and the explanation actually makes Obito smile at the sadistic and surprisingly smart idea that his adoptive son came up with. After this, Naruto begins going on solo missions or missions with Zetsu quite frequently. He doesn't stop training though. At some point, Obito would think that Naruto was ready to start wielding small portions of the Nine-Tails chakra. Due to the genjutsu Kurama is under, control is not much of an issue. The problem is, Naruto's body wasn't durable enough to exude so much chakra. But now that he is older, he can start practicing with it. This takes place at around the same time that the Land of Waves arc happens in canon. Right now, Naruto is capable of using about as much Nine-Tails chakra as when he battled Sasuke in the Valley of the End. He can summon one Kyuubi cloak tail at most. But this is still a great power boost. Meanwhile, let's go check on what's happening in the Leaf Village. At first, everything should go about the same as in canon, all the way up until Genin teams are assigned to Naruto's generation. This is where a question arises. Who's gonna be the third member of Team 7? That would have to be the dead last person in the class, and it's a bit hard to decide who that might be. Let's quickly address everyone in the class. Shikamaru is obviously not going to be the dead last. While he is lazy, his intelligence more than makes up for that. Ino is a member of the Yamanaka clan, and can use mind transfer jutsu. Hinata is a member of the famed Hyuga clan, and is pretty smart, as shown when she actually knew the answers to the very difficult questions in the Chunin exam, though she might have copied them from someone else using the Byakugan. Shino is both smart and powerful, so I don't see him being dead last. Choji is a member of the Yakamichi clan and part of Inoshikacho, and so he is off the list. The only one left is Kiba, and while he is strong, he doesn't seem to be too smart. And while he is part of the Inuzuka clan, I don't think it's quite as prestigious as some of the other clans of the Konoha 11. So Kiba is placed on Team 7, and someone random goes to Team 8. Everything once again remains mostly the same, but Kiba is the type of guy to start whining and asking for more difficult missions, just like Naruto did in canon. So they are still assigned to go to the Land of Waves. When Zabuza first appears, everything goes pretty much the same until Kakashi gets captured. At that point, I see Kiba and Nakamaru rushing Zabuza, but the Mist Ninja would just create a clone. Then Kiba and Nakamaru would use a double Fang over Fang and keep the clone busy, while Sasuke fires the biggest fire style jutsu he can at the real Zabuza. I believe this could work. Kakashi is freed, and the fight resumes like it does in canon. Where significant changes start happening is when Team 7 leaves to guard the bridge on the day that Zabuza planned to attack it. Kiba would go with everyone else, and so no one would be there to stop the two thugs from killing Inari and his mother. On the bridge itself, Sasuke would still get trapped by Haku's ice mirrors, but I don't think Kiba is dumb enough to go into the cage like Naruto did. This time, Haku would have to deal with Sasuke attacking from the inside and Kiba attacking from the outside. Overall, I think the two should hold out against Haku long enough for Kakashi to trap and try to kill Zabuza, and Haku still goes off to sacrifice himself for his master. Now, you could argue that Zabuza doesn't have a change of heart since Naruto isn't there, but I do still think that Kiba would give a speech about how friends and comrades should never abandon one another, due to his close relationship with Akamaru. Let's say that's enough to sway Zabuza and he still kills Gato, but dies in the process. The bridge is complete, and most things continue as in canon, although, like I said, Inari and his mother are still dead, so everyone isn't nearly as happy as they were in canon. Even in the Chunin exams, all should go relatively the same until Orochimaru appears in the Forest of Death. But that goes pretty much the same too, since Kiba is definitely going to fight him like Naruto did, and will definitely still lose. And Sasuke still gets the curse mark. However, everything changes when the Konoha Crush arc begins. First and most obvious, Naruto is not there to stop the One-Tails from rampaging in the village. And second, remember when Naruto transformed into Leaf Shinobi when he attacked the castle? And how he specifically left a few stone shinobi witnesses alive? Well, those survivors went to their native village and told everything to the Tsuchikage, who views this as a declaration of war by the Leaf Village. Now, not only does Konoha have to deal with Orochimaru, the Sound Ninja, and the Sand Ninja, and the One-Tails, but also Stone Ninja. as a deal was made between Orochimaru and the Tsuchikage to crush the leaf for good. This time, instead of getting Naruto, Shikamaru, and Sakura go assist Sasuke against Gaara, Kakashi himself leaves things here to Guy while he goes to find Sasuke and contain Gaara. As chaos ensues in the village, Orochimaru still has his battle with the third Hokage. Jiraiya also arrives at just the right time to stop the gigantic three-headed serpent summoning. Over with Sasuke and Gaara, the former has ran out of chakra, and just before he gets finished off, Kakashi arrives to make the save, followed by Sakura and Kiba, who both wanted to help. Kakashi yells at Sakura to get Sasuke out of there, and Kiba to stay back and support him if need be. A deathmatch begins, and Kakashi is winning for the most part. But things take a turn for the worse when Gaara transforms into the One-Tails. Kakashi realizes that he can't deal with the full Shukaku alone, and tells Kiba to go get backup, while he himself stays back to hold off the monster. Meanwhile, back in the village, the Leaf Shinobi, outnumbered and outgunned, are being slowly overwhelmed. The only pillars of hope in this mess are Jiraiya and Guy, but even they are struggling to face this many enemies at once. After some time passes, Hiruzen finally ends his long battle with Orochimaru, the same way he did in canon. Orochimaru, the serpent and his goons retreat, but no one else on the attacking side does. As Guy finally finishes dealing with the sound tuning that attacked the stadium, Kiba arrives and informs him of Kakashi's situation with Gaara. Guy instructs Kiba to show him which direction the fight is happening in, and then tells him to go help fight off the attacking Chunin, while he himself goes to assist Kakashi. Both of them rush out to do their duty. After a few minutes of stalling the One-Tails, Kakashi begins to feel his chakra running low. He knows he has to either hold out until backup arrives or take Gaara down by himself, which would be a very difficult task, especially with his remaining chakra reserves being so low. Just then, Guy shows up and kicks the One-Tails in the face with the sixth gate already open. This stuns the beast for a bit, but isn't enough to deal any significant damage. Kakashi is glad and relieved to see his comrade here, and prepares to finish what his student started. He charges a lightning blade. The copy ninja shouts to Guy to keep the monster busy and preferably stun him for just a couple seconds, so that he can finish the job with his Raikiri. The two friends rush the One-Tails. Guy, knowing Kakashi is probably running low on chakra, decides that this has to end very quickly. He charges at the monster at full speed, and hits him with the strongest morning peacock he can muster. This greatly damages and temporarily paralyzes the beast, as Kakashi uses this brief window of time to run up to Gaara and run him through with the lightning blade. Suddenly, the body of Shukaku begins turning to sand, as Gaara's lifeless body goes limp. They did it. Over in the village, Jiraiya knocks out the last stone ninja after the long battle, sighs, and goes to check up on the third. 3 days later, a funeral for all the innocent people and shinobi who lost their lives in this conflict is held. Konoha wasn't crushed, but it was greatly weakened, much more so than in canon. Over a third of their military force was now completely wiped out, not to mention the Hokage's death and all the collateral damage. Over on the Hokage monument, 3 figures watched over the village. Naruto smiled to himself. This little idea of his turned out to be way more effective than he could have ever imagined, and Zetsu agrees. Obito remained silent, but under his mask, you could see a grin forming. This went even better than expected. Naruto hates this place so much that even after seeing all this destruction and death, he feels happy that he at least partially caused a lot of it. Obito congratulates his adopted son, and they all teleport out of there. About a week after the Konoha Crush incident, Obito approaches Naruto with a new mission, and it's quite urgent. He informs the boy that Sasuke Uchiha from the Leaf Village left to go train with Orochimaru, and while normally he wouldn't meddle in those kinds of affairs, Obito thinks it would be troublesome if Orochimaru obtained the Sharingan. Not to mention that someday he wanted to recruit Sasuke into their ranks. However, he didn't have a problem with Orochimaru training the boy up. He just needed the serpent to not take over Sasuke's body. So he charges Naruto with a mission. Stall and hold off Orochimaru's minions until the Sannin can't wait any longer and has to take a new body. Naruto gets ready, and Obito teleports him to the current location of the Sound 4 and Sasuke. But this is where we will be leaving this timeline off for now.
And that's the end of that. I hope you enjoyed the cringe, especially with the first few videos. I ordered these in chronological order, so first was the Tatsumaki what if, then the Cooler what if, and then the Naruto what if. And already I think there's like a gap in terms of quality from the first one and the last one that I showed here today. But there was also one other video that I wanted to show you about Kaguya vs Momoshiki. Not the one that I had uploaded for a while until I privated it. There was like another one before that where I essentially, like, I specifically remember one part of it where I claimed that adult Naruto is 9 million times stronger than teen Naruto. I really wanted to find that one and show it to you because it's really funny. But I just couldn't find it. Like, it sucks. I combed through my entire PC and I couldn't find it. I know it exists because I rewatched it like not too long ago, maybe like half a year ago or something like that. And it sucks that I can't find it now because I really want to show you, so I'll keep looking. But, you know, just in case I don't find it, just know that there was a time when I said that adult Naruto was 9 million times stronger than teen Naruto. But regardless of that, as you can see, I did what-ifs pretty often back in the day. Like, most of my first videos were what-ifs, until I focused more on power scaling and then got sick of it and then focused back on what-ifs. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this throwback of a video. Very nostalgic for me. Maybe interesting for you, I don't know, but, you know, I hope you had enjoyed it, and I hope it was interesting to see how much things have changed since those times. But regardless, if you've stayed all the way up until the end, I thank you for that, and I wish you a happy rest of the day. Goodbye.